We welcome you back to the Yoshida Event Center here in Gresham for this Wednesday night matchup between the Chemeketa Storm and the Mount Hood Saints, the second meeting between these two teams and the final between these two teams. Hello, everybody. I'm Jackson Hamlin, and we welcome you to this great game of women's basketball. We will join the national anthem live in progress in just a moment. But first, we prepare and discuss where these teams come off of. The Chemeketa Storm, a little bit of a misfire with the music there, and looks like we're going to get the national anthem. And with that, we leave off where I left off how both these teams got here from last week. The Chemeketa Storm are coming off a 53-45 win at home on Saturday against the Southwest Oregon Lakers. As for the Saints, they have dropped their last 5 in a row, and they come off a 42-40 loss on the road down in Albany on Saturday. They lost to the Lynn Benton Road Runners. We'll get to the starting 5 for each team, but first our officials for tonight, led by crew chief Fernando Lira and umpires Michael Hansen and Stephanie Rowland. Starting 5 for the Chemeketa Storm include number 2, Aria Kent, number 3, Malaya Bolden, number 4, Jenna Glenzel, number 22, Carly Tyler, and number 33, Bailey Peterson. Starting 5 for Mount Hood, number 2, Julie Conard, number 10, Sydney Knutson, number 15, Michaela Patterson, number 22, Marley Johnson, and number 34, Kylie Hoyleman. Coaches for the Chemeketa Storm, head coach Kevin McCarroll and assistant coach Rodney Nelson. Saints head coach of 2 years, Alex Brown, assisted by 2 assistant coaches, Kelsey Higgins and Bertie Wormy. As we get set for this game between the Storm and the Saints, looks like it will be Jenna Glenzel for the Storm against Michaela Patterson of the Saints to get the tip-off. And this one is going to get underway in just a few moments. Official has the basketball, and he will throw it up at center court, and we are underway here in game number 1 of 2 tonight. As this one's going to be taken by Kent. She passes it over to Glenzel, back over to Kent, moves to the right side, gets it back to Glenzel. Glenzel back over to Kent. Kent going to back up, finding space. Kent now going to dribble to the inside. Now gets it over to Bolden. Bolden back over to Kent. Kent gets it to Glenzel. Glenzel over to the right corner. It's tipped out of bounds, and Chemeketa will retain possession. The Chemeketa Storm, 8-13 overall, 2-7 in conference play. Saints 7-12 overall, 2-7 in conference play. And again, the Saints come off a 5th straight loss on Saturday, trying to get back into the win column tonight. Inbounding will be Peterson. She gets it in, and now it is Glenzel. Glenzel moves to the inside, gets it out to the left side, and now it's Bolden, and now shot clock violation, and the Saints will take possession. Now it's Bolden, and now shot clock violation, and the Saints will take possession. And now Hoyleman will be the one to inbound it, and she gets it to Conard, back over to Hoyleman. Lynn with a pass over to Johnson, and Johnson dribbles it across the midcourt line. Gets it back over to Hoyleman. Hoyleman backs up near midcourt. Now moves and looks for a passing lane. Gets it to Johnson. Johnson back over to Hoyleman. Hoyleman fakes, moves to the inside, gets it back to Johnson. Johnson going to take a three, and it's off the back iron. Rebounded. She's able to collect her own. Long pass over to Conard. Conard gets it back to Hoyleman. Hoyleman over to Knutson. Back over to Hoyleman. Back to Knutson. Back over to Johnson. Johnson puts up a shot and rolls in for the first points of the game. 2-0 for the Saints, as now it will be the Storm to bring it back up. Here's Peterson. Gets it back over to Kent. Kent backs up. Knutson guarding her. Now moves over to the left side. Gets it across now to Bolden. Bolden holds. Now gets it over to the right side, and Glenzel. Glenzel, it's tipped out, and it's off Mount Hood, and Chemeketa will once again get possession. Ball was tipped out of bounds very quickly. I couldn't tell who it was off of, but it was off the Saints. Here's a two. That one won't go. Rebounded offensively, put up and no good. And Knutson the rebound and out of bounds, but the Saints will get possession back. Gets it into Hoyleman. And Hoyleman with a pass back to Knutson. Back over to Hoyleman. Back over to Knutson. Still haven't crossed the timeline. Now they do. It's Conard. Conard on that right side. Gets it across back to Conard. Conard has a block. Gets it over. It's tipped and intercepted. Back come the Storm. And here comes Peterson. Peterson on that right side. Gets it over to Kent. Kent back to Peterson. She'll take a three. And it's off the back of the iron. And Knutson the rebound. Back to Johnson. Johnson crosses quickly, gets it across Hoyleman, over to Patterson, back to Conard for three. It's good! Conard with a three, and it's 5-0 Saints. Back come the Storm now. Here's Peterson once again, gets it over to Kent. Kent back over to Peterson. Peterson across the right side to Glenzel. Back over now is Kent on that left side, gets it back over to Peterson. Peterson now backs up. Knutson has a heavy guard on her. Back over now is Glenzel. Back over to Peterson. Back over now is Bolden. Bolden to the inside, flips a two and puts it in. From the free throw line, she went hook shot and puts it in, and it's 5-2. Back over now comes Johnson. Johnson gets it to Hoyleman. Hoyleman at the top of the key, gets it over to the right side. Conard gonna take another three and hit it! That makes two straight for Conard, and it's 8-2. Back come the Storm now, over to the left side. That was Kent, gets it back over to Glenzel, left wing. Conard guarding her, gets it to the free throw line, now passes back out to Peterson. Peterson on that right side, gets it back to Glenzel. Glenzel starts to move to the inside, back over left corner, a three is no good. Offensive rebound, puts it up, it's tipped out of bounds, and Chemeketa will retain possession. That was Malaya Bolden to make the save for Chemeketa. Could not get the shot to fall, but it's out of bounds off Mount Hood anyways. Now it will be Peterson to inbound, and she looks for someone to pass to. It's a long pass to the left wing, and it's caught by Kent. Kent at the top of the key, now gets it across. Now is Vasquez who comes into the game, and that one is tipped out of bounds, and Chemeketa once again with control. So now it will be Peterson once again to inbound, and she gets it into Tyler. Tyler over to Glenzel. Glenzel back over to Kent. Kent gets it back over to Peterson. Peterson, a pass is intercepted, and here comes Hoyleman. Hoyleman dribbles it. She's going to take it herself, tries to put up a shot. No, gets it back to Johnson for three. Off the iron, no good. Rebound to Knutson. Tries to put up the save. No good, but she's fouled. Correction, that was Patterson who got the foul, and now she has two free throws coming. And we'll get to her free throw percentages in just a moment. So we see the first one is off the back, no good. So Patterson, who's a 57% free throw shooter on the season, puts in the second, goes 1 for 2, and makes it a 9-2 Saints lead. Just about 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Here comes Chemeketa, gets it back over, and now it is Peterson who gets it back over to Kent. Kent gets it back over to Peterson on the right wing, gets it to the right corner, and now it's Glenzel. Glenzel gets it to Vasquez. Vasquez gets it back to Tyler. Tyler over to Kent. Pass is blocked, put it up the shot, and banks it in, and it's now 9-4. So here come the Saints now, 5.5 to go here in the first quarter, and they have a 5-point lead. Here is Hoylman at the top of the circle. Looks for someone to pass to. Fakes, gets it over to Patterson. Patterson looking for someone, gets it back to Hoylman, who takes a three, and it's off the iron, tip back out, and there's nobody there. And possession back to Chemeketa. So now it will be Kent to inbound it. And she does get it into Peterson. And Peterson will now cross the timeline. Peterson gets it back over to Kent, who almost lost it. She didn't realize the ball was coming right back at her for a second. Gets it back over Glenzel, who gets it to Vasquez. Put up a shot, and it's in. That's the second time they've gone with just that front shot. And it's 9-6 in a three-point game with 4:54 to go. So now Connor at the top of the circle, waits on the logo. Everyone moving around here. Conard moves over to that left side at the left wing, gets it across, and now it's Patterson. Patterson to Hoylman. Hoylman now scrambles, turns, and she'll take it herself, put it up, and that one's off, no good. And a whistle. We got a turnover, and possession will go back to Chemeketa. It was a foul on Patterson. And we have a media timeout with 4:32 to go, and the Saints leading 9-6 here in the first quarter. Well, some other notes to take note of for the Chemeketa Storm. They only won 2 games in the span of a month. They had 6 losses in between. They did win their last game, but they did not win that game until after suffering 6 losses, including a loss to Mount Hood back on January 11th. That was a 67-65 Saints win at Chemeketa. This is the second and final meeting between these two teams. The Mount Hood Saints are 0-2 in the month of February. They went 2-5 in the month of January. They have not won since that double overtime win against the Clark Penguins back on January 18th. They've lost by an average of 22.4 points a game. They've been outscored 338-226 in their last 5 games. And once again, they are 7-12 overall, 2-7 in conference play. For the Storm, they went 1-1 in the month of February. They went 1-6 in the month of January. They lost to Mount Hood again at home, and they are again 8-13 in the Northwest Athletic Conference, and 2-7 in conference play. So back come the Storm now out of the timeout. It is Kent who crosses the timeline, looks for a passing lane, gets it to Vasquez. Vasquez the bucket, and she puts it in to make this a 1-point game. Johnson now inbounds it, and here comes Hoylman crossing the timeline. Hoylman waits at the top of the circle. Now moves to the right side, gets it over to Conard at the right wing, gets it over to Patterson. Patterson tries to take the shot. She does, and she puts it off the iron, no good, and the Storm bring it the other way. Here is Peterson, gets it over to Kent. Kent stops on that right side, gets it over to Vasquez. Vasquez again, going to put up a shot, and she puts it in. So now the Storm with a lead. Their first, it's 10-9 with just under 4 minutes to play. Now comes Hoylman. Hoylman gets it over to Conard. Conard gets it back over to Hoylman. Hoylman over to Knutson. Knutson gets it back, and it's poked checked, and a runaway breakaway pass for the Storm. Tries to put up the shot, and it rolls in for Jenna Glenzel as she picks off the pass and has a breakaway. She put in the shot, and now it's a 3-point lead. And now the Storm pick it off once again, and now they lose possession, and it goes back to the Saints. Now substitution time for Mount Hood, and it looks like Hallie Meek is going to be coming in for Patterson. And now it will be Mount Hood to inbound it. It will be Knutson who will be handling the inbound pass. All the way on that left side, Saints moving here from left to right, wearing their all whites. And now Conard brings it across and waits at the top of the logo, gets it over to Knutson. Knutson pass in to Johnson. Johnson back out to Hoylman. Hoylman steps back. Coach Brown telling her not to shoot. Back over to Conard. Conard gets it over to Johnson. 8 to shoot. Back to Conard. Conard moves inside the lane, almost lost it, got it back, puts it across. Knutson for 3, off the iron, no good, and an offensive rebound is saved by Meek. Knutson get with it. Back over now is Johnson. Johnson behind the net, and she stepped out of bounds. Or no, she was fouled. And now the Saints will inbound it from underneath the right side basket. Foul was on Malaya Bolden. And the second team foul for the Storm here in the first quarter. Shot put off, no good, and now the Storm bring it the other way. And here comes Bolden. Bolden with the ball, gets it over, and now it's, trying to tell who that is. That is, and now a whistle and a turnover. And the Saints will retain possession. So here come the Saints once more. And here comes Conard. Conard guarded by Kent. Kent gets it inside the lane. Now a pass out. And now it's Kosmicki. Gets it over Hoylman for 3. Off the iron, tip back out, but the Storm have it. Now here comes Bolden. Crosses the timeline. Gets it over Kent. Over to Vasquez. Vasquez underneath the bucket. Puts it up and in. And the Storm by 5. Here come the Saints. They led 9-4. It's a 10-0 Chemeketa run since. Back comes Conard. Conard gets it over to Hoylman. Hoylman at the top of the key. Spins to the inside. Tries to put up a shot. No, she gets it back out. Here's Conard for 3. Off the iron. And Knutson tries to save it. She does. Tipped. It's out of bounds. But it's off Chemeketa. And Mount Hood once again has it. Coach Brown having a few words for the officials. As now it's Hoylman to get it into Kosmicki, who takes a 3, and it's off the front of the rim, no good. Tipped right into the hands of Bolden, who brings it back across, crosses the timeline. Now it's a pass, and they can't control it. Stepped out of bounds, and possession goes back to the Saints. That was Carly Tyler that stepped out of bounds, and now it will be Hoylman to inbound it to Conard. And gets it back to Hoylman, who crosses the timeline. Hoylman on that left side now moves to the free throw line. Tipped and a whistle. We have another foul against Chemeketa. So it'll be Saints ball. So it'll be Hoylman to inbound it on the right side. Gets it to Conard. Conard at the top of the circle. Looking, gets it across Meek. Meek with a fake pass, now gets it to Kosmicki. Kosmicki back to Conard. Conard shoots a 3. It's off the iron, no good, and out of bounds. So Chemeketa once again will retain possession. They're up by 5, 14-9 with just over a minute to go here in the first quarter. Bringing it up the floor now is Peterson. Gets it across now. Back over to Peterson from Bolden. Gets it across now is Glenzel. Back to Peterson. 19 to shoot. Gets it across to Tyler. Tyler across, put up a shot, it's no good, and out of play, and Saints ball. So now the Saints will inbound it. And it will be Hoylman to collect the ball and inbound it to Conard, who slowly walks it up the floor, now hustles a little bit, gets it across the timeline. Hoylman now moves to underneath the basket, gets it across now to Lewis. And now it's back over to Hoylman. Hoylman moves, gets it back to the outside, and a whistle. We got another foul. And the foul is on number 25, who unfortunately I don't have written down. I'll have to get that name in a moment. With 34 seconds to go here in the first quarter, Hoyleman inbounds it. It's tipped, but it's tipped off Mount Hood, so Chemeketa takes over. I thought for a second that was tipped off of Chemeketa, but umpire says it was a double tip, so it was off Mount Hood. So Chemeketa will take possession as Peterson will bring it up the floor. Now gets it across to Bolden. Bolden over to Glenzel. Glenzel moves to the inside. Pass is tipped, and that one's put in. And the Storm now lead by 7. 16-9. 18 seconds to go. Shot clock is off. Mount Hood can take the final shot. Here's Hoyleman. Waits at the logo. Now gets it across, and it's Lewis. Back over to Hoyleman. Over to Conard. 7 seconds to go. Back across Hoyleman. Over to Conard. Conard to Kosmicki. 2 seconds and 1. Puts up the shot. She can't. And that's the end of quarter number 1. As she tried to put it up from right underneath the basket, was unable to. And at the end of 10 minutes here in Gresham, it's the Chemeketa Storm 16 and the Mount Hood Saints 9. So now the start of the second quarter is about to begin. Once again, the Chemeketa Storm have a 16-9 lead against the Mount Hood Saints. And a little update of information for you. Number 25 for the Storm, Bella Vasquez, 5'7" sophomore, plays forward. She was the one that put in that last bucket for the Storm. That gave them a 16-9 lead. So now the Saints have possession to start quarter number 2 as Hoyleman waits and gets it over to Patterson. Gets it back over to Conard. Conard gets it over to Patterson, or Hoyleman, who passes it. It was tipped, and it goes out of bounds, and the Saints will retain possession. So now it'll be Johnson to inbound it from the right side. Once again, Saints going to be moving from left to right here in the second quarter. Storm going to be moving from right to left, as now it is Johnson on the right side. Gets it back over to Knutson. Knutson over to Conard. And Conard with a long pass over to Johnson. 6 to shoot. Back to Hoyleman. Back to Johnson. Conard, a 3 is an air ball. And that's not going to be the shot clock anyways. And it's out of bounds. And Chemeketa will have possession. So it'll be Kent to inbound it to Peterson. And now gets it back over to Kent. Back over to Peterson as they cross the timeline. Gets it over to Glenzel. Glenzel back over, and now it's Kent. Kent gets it back over to Peterson. Peterson back over to Kent. 3 on the left side. Air ball. And rebounded, and a foul, as it was Glenzel to try to take it to the net. And the foul is going to be called on Hoyleman. And it's the first foul of the second quarter. And now Hoyleman will sub out as Kosmicki will come back into the game. It'll be an inbound from underneath the basket for Chemeketa. That's Peterson. It's a long pass over to Glenzel, but she makes the catch. Glenzel backs up. Has Patterson all over her. Now moves over to the right side. Fakes out, backs up. Now with a pass over to Kent. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Kent gets it back over. Here's Tyler. Back over to Kent. Kent's got to take a shot. They're not going to beat the shot clock. It didn't beat the shot clock. It's no good. But the shot clock had expired anyways. And the Saints will have possession once more. 7-point lead for the Storm. 8:45 to go here in the first half. As now Conard will get the inbound pass from Knutson. Now Conard on that left side. Pass over to Patterson. Back over Kosmicki. Kosmicki is now Conard will get the inbound pass from Knutson. Now Conard on that left side. Pass over to Patterson. Back over Kosmicki. Kosmicki gets it to Johnson for three. Off the rim, no, and the Storm the rebound. Now here comes Glenzel. It's a pass over to Bolden. Bolden gets it back over. Here's Peterson for three. It's off the iron, no good, and the rebound to Conard. Conard's got two defenders. She passes it to Johnson. Johnson now dribbles it inside the lane, gets it back out Knutson, who moves to the free throw line, now underneath the basket, puts up a shot, no good, and the rebound is by Patterson, but she can't put it in, and the foul is called. So the foul is going to be called on Carly Tyler, 6'1" freshman from Staten. So it'll be Patterson to attempt free throws. Patterson, who is a 62% free throw shooter on the season. See if she can put in the first one as she gets the ball from the official. Patterson eyes that rim, shoots the first, and hits it. So now the Storm only lead by 6. It's 16-10. One more free throw for Patterson. See if she can get both. Second free throw on its way, and good. She got both, and it's down to a 5-point game. Here comes Chemeketa once again, as it's Glenzel to get back over to Vasquez. Vasquez to Peterson. High pass was handled. Gets it back over to Glenzel. Another high pass. Glenzel inside the lane, puts up the shot, reverse, and it's in. A chance for a three-point play as that shot was put in. And a free throw now for Glenzel as the foul was called against Patterson. And a three-point play can be converted with a free throw here. So Glenzel will be the one to shoot. Glenzel, who is a 72% free throw shooter, knocks it down, converts the three-point play, and Chemeketa back up 8. 19-11 with 7:50 to go here in the first half. Conard gets it back over to Meek, and Meek with a pass, fake pass, gets it back over to Knutson, top of the key, gets it back over to Conard on that right wing. Conard looks for a passing lane, and she gets it back to Johnson. Rimmed in! And finally, Conard back with another three, her third of the game, and it's back to a 5-point game. So here comes Chemeketa, as that one was almost intercepted, but it's Kosmicki who can't stay in bounds, and Chemeketa retains control. And it will be Kent to handle the inbound pass. On the far side, gets it across now into Peterson. Peterson right at the mid-court line, gets it over to Vasquez. Vasquez wide open, and she puts in the double. So now it is Meek who gets it into Conard. Conard at the top of the circle. Now we get another whistle. And we have another whistle. I don't know exactly what that whistle was for, but it looks like the Saints will get the inbound on. I don't know exactly what that whistle was for, but it looks like the Saints will get the inbound on that far side on their end of the court, as it's Kosmicki to inbound it to Conard. Conard waits at the top of the key. Fresh shot clock, gets it over to Johnson. Johnson's going to take a three, and she hits it! 2 straight threes for the Saints, and it's a 4-point game. 21-17, 6:45 to go here in quarter number 2. Here's Vasquez on the left side. Knutson guarding her, gets it over to Peterson. Peterson's got 2 defenders, gets it to Vasquez, moves inside, puts up the shot, off the rim, no good, and Knutson gets the rebound. Saints now moving it up the floor very quickly as Knutson over to the left side, gets it to Johnson for 3, no good, and the rebound handled by Knutson. Back to Johnson, back to Kosmicki, or that's Meek. Now it's Kosmicki, she'll shoot the 3, it's off the iron, and Chemeketa gonna let it go out of play, and they're gonna get possession anyway. So it's 21-17 with 6:15 to go. Storm with a 4-point advantage here late in the first half, as it's going to be Vasquez to inbound to Peterson. Late in the first half, as it's going to be Vasquez to inbound to Peterson. And Peterson with a pass over to Glenzel. And now it's over to Kent. Kent over to the left side. Here's a jumper, air ball, and rebounded by the Saints as now Hoylman brings it back across the timeline. Gets it over Conard. Conard going to take another three and hit it! That's 5 threes for Conard, and it's within 1. Now comes Vasquez. Vasquez spins and gets it over now to Kent. Kent moves to the inside, gets it across now as it's going to be Wadsworth, and a whistle and a turnover. It was a travel. So a travel on Chemeketa will give the ball back to Mount Hood, down by 1 with 5:41 to go in the second quarter. From the left side, it will be Hoylman to inbound, and she gets it into Conard. And now here's Conard crossing the timeline, gets it over to Johnson. Johnson moves over to the left side. Now looks for a pass, gets it across now, because that was Knutson. Now it's a 3 on the right side, and it's Conard again! Unbelievable first half performance from Conard. She's got at least 5 threes, and the Saints have a 23-21 lead, and now a turnover as the Saints will get the ball back. Conard having one heck of a first half. She's got at least 15 of the Saints' 21 points. So it'll be Hoylman to inbound it. And a long pass over to Conard. Conard on the right side gets it across to Hoylman. Hoylman over to Johnson. Johnson thought about a 3, didn't take it, gets it to Meek. Meek inside, puts up the 2 and put it off, no good. Collects her own rebound, tries to get another shot, no good, and gets it back across. Johnson over to Knutson, moves to the inside, has to go somewhere, and she gets it back over to Johnson. Top of the key, back to Conard. Back over comes Hoylman, over to Conard, back to Johnson, back to Conard again. Moves inside Hoylman, and a travel is called, and the Saints turn it over. So now we have another timeout with 4:45 to go in the second quarter and a 23-21 Saints lead. Well, Conard, the 5'4" freshman from Portland, has a bunch of 3s so far here in the first half, and a lot of them have been nothing but net. She's contributed to most of the Saints' points here in the second quarter. They've got 23 of them. She's got at least 15. So the Saints went on a little bit of a run after being down by as many as 8. They now have a 2-point lead. See if they can hold it to the break. Again, they only beat Chemeketa by 2 last time they played back on January 11th. It was a 67-65 win for the Saints. And Saints trying to end this 5-game losing streak they've been on, being outscored by nearly 100 or more than 100 points. They've been outscored by 112, losing by an average of 22 points a game. And it's kind of like how things are going here. They start strong, but they lose leads at times, and they allow their opponents to just build off that. And we'll see if they can make a change here, as Conard contributing very much to this Saints lead, as now the Storm will bring it back up from right to left. Here it comes, and now a pass tipped and picked off. Here comes Meek for the Saints, and now a pass over to Johnson, gets it over to Conard. Conard thought about another 3, doesn't take it. Back to Johnson, over to Hoylman. Thought about a 3, she was wide open. Back to Johnson, jumpers on the way, and good! Make it a 4-point Saints lead, 25-21 with 4:15 to go. Back come the Storm now. Here is Bolden. Bolden now moves, gets it over, and that one's no good, as that one was attempted by Wadsworth, and the Saints bring it back up the floor. Here's Johnson. Johnson at the top of the key, gets it over to Hoylman. Hoylman looks for a pass and now gets it to Meek. Meek again at the top of the key, gets it Hoylman, moves to that right side, spins, gets it back over to Johnson. Johnson inside the lane, spins, gets it back out Knutson. Knutson now runs and now gets it over to Conard, gets it back over Hoylman. Conard back, 5 to shoot, gets it back over to Meek. Meek puts up that shot and puts it in! With just 1 second left on the shot clock, she's able to put in the deuce, and it's a 6-point lead. So here come the Storm once more. Here's Kent, gets it over to Bolden. Bolden on the left wing, long pass over to the right wing to Peterson. Gets it back over to Glenzel. Glenzel back over to Kent, gets it back over to Bolden, back over to Kent. Kent on the left wing, move to the inside, gets tripped, and a foul. And it was Conard who got the foul. Looks like we're going to have a substitution, and Conard going to be coming out of the game just a couple of moments, we hope, as she's having one heck of a first half, as Kosmicki will take her place. So it'll be Peterson to inbound from underneath the basket, looking for someone to get it into, and she passes it long over to Wadsworth. Wadsworth dribbles through the legs, gets it up, has to find somebody, and she finds Glenzel. Glenzel now at the top of the circle, gets it across now. Here's Kent. It gets back over to Glenzel. Glenzel at the top of the key, moves to the inside, puts up a jumper, no good, tipped, and it's rebounded, and the shot clock expired anyway. But it hit the rim, so Chemeketa gonna get, and that one's banked in. Looked like it was trailing left, but it banks in, and it's back to a 4-point game. 27-23, 2.5 to go here in the first half. Hoylman gets it over to Knutson on that left wing, gets it back over Meek, who's gonna take a three. It's an air ball, and rebounded by Vasquez. Vasquez gets it back to Kent, gets it back over to Vasquez. On that left wing, gets it back over to Kent, top of the key. Kent looking, Vasquez on the inside, puts up a jumper, and missed it. Rebounded by Chemeketa. Here's a three. Thought about taking it, Glenzel, but then she had a block. No good, and a charge is called, and the Saints will get possession. The foul was called against Chemeketa. So now it'll be the Saints to bring it up the floor once again as Hoylman. With 2 minutes to go here in the first half, Hoylman spins, puts up the two, no good, and it's rebounded by Glenzel, who gets it to Peterson. Peterson on that right wing, gets it back over to Glenzel. She's going to take a three, and it's off the backboard, no good, and rebounded by Johnson. Johnson now going to bring it back up the floor, gets it to Kosmicki. Kosmicki a three, off the iron, rebounded by Meek, who gets it back across. Now here comes Hoylman, back over to Kosmicki. Kosmicki puts up the shot, no good, and it's rebounded by Kent. Kent with a long pass over to Glenzel, has a wide open look, and can't put it in as the block came in last second. So Hoylman back up the floor, gets it over to Johnson. Johnson on that right side, moves to the inside, puts up the shot. She got messed with, and now she puts up the shot, and she put it in! I don't know how that one was able to fall in, but a chance for three, as Johnson will go to the line. So Johnson, who is 38%, will convert a three-point play, and she does. So now the Saints back up by 7, 30-23, with 1:15 to go here in the second quarter. Here come the Storms. Peterson gets it over, back over Peterson, and back over now Glenzel. Back over to Kent, over to Glenzel, top of the circle, gets it across now, and here comes Vasquez. Vasquez turns, puts up the shot, and in! Under a minute to go here now in the first half. Here's Hoylman, gets the inbound from Kosmicki, now crosses the timeline, waits, looks for somebody to pass to, and now she moves inside, pass out now to Johnson. Johnson over to Kosmicki, who takes a three left side, off the iron, and rebounded by Chemeketa. 40 seconds to go here, second quarter. Shot clock and game clock are about 10 seconds apart. Here's Peterson, gets it over to Glenzel. Glenzel back to Peterson, back over to Glenzel. Glenzel gets it in now to Vasquez. Vasquez moves over to the right side, gets it across Kent. 14 to shoot. Kent moves top of the circle, gets it across Glenzel, holds, and now goes to the inside. Tries and now fakes, puts up the shot. Here's a two. It's off the iron, no good. Rebounded by the Saints. 12 seconds to go. They can hold out again, and there is no call there as it goes out of bounds. And I couldn't tell who it was, but she tripped, lost the ball, it went out of bounds. 7 seconds to go now. Here's Glenzel. Get to back over. Here's Peterson, a three. No good. 1 second. It's a long shot, and it goes nowhere. As Meek tried to heave it from 3/4 court. I don't even think it made it back to the midline. We'll have to check the replay on that. But that is the end of 20 here in Gresham. And the Saints, with a 5-point advantage, they will take a 30-25 lead into the locker room. So Conard did make 5 threes in that first half. She leads the way for the Saints with 15 points, has 1 foul. And the Saints with a 30-25 lead at the break. Conard, who only had 5 points in the game on Saturday against Lynn Benton, has now tripled what she's had in just 1 half of this game. A good performance, as most of her threes again, nothing but net. As for other players from the Saints, Michaela Patterson with 3 points, Marley Johnson with 10. As for the Storm, Glenzel has 5, Vasquez has 4, so does Kent. Bolden's got 2. So now as we watch the guys warm up, they have the next game coming up. Tip off for that one will be about 7:30, and my analyst for the evening, Mr. Jake Rowe, should be here by then. But I'm happy to keep things running solo until he gets here for at least this game. It's been a wonderful first half to watch. There's been a couple of lead changes as Mount Hood jumped out to an early 9-4 lead, and then it was 16-9 in favor of the Storm for a while, and then the Saints have built their lead once more to a 5-point lead at the break, 30-25, as we're counting down the minutes until half number 2, just 12 more. And as we watch the guys warm up, a lot of these shots going in, and that should be an interesting match to watch as the Mount Hood men come off a 85-82 win against the Lynn Benton Roadrunners on Saturday. The Saints have won 3 out of their last 5, and all 3 games that they've won by 3 points. So really interesting to see how they can keep their composure in this one after both a close and probably emotional win on Saturday, as they split the series with the Roadrunners, even not even getting a home game with them because of a facility error here at Mount Hood. So they ended up playing both games against Lynn Benton down in Albany. As for the Storm men, they come off a 69-67 loss against the Lakers of Southwest Oregon on Saturday. They have lost their last 4 in a row, and they've lost 5 of their last 6. They're 0-2 in the month of February. They did get a win, though, against the Saints at home back on January the 11th. It was an 82-62 victory for the Storm. So Saints definitely going to be looking for a little bit of a revenge match here as we get set for both that game and then the second half of our women's game between the Storm and the Saints. The Saints, after tonight, have 6 games remaining, 4 of which are here at home. And it starts on Sunday against the Lakers of Southwest Oregon. Lakers currently playing Lane. And at least for the women, the Titans are unbeaten. And we'll check that score right now. It does not appear that game is in progress. See if we can get it up here. Doesn't look like Lane is playing. Or they are playing Southwest Oregon. I just can't find the score. And there it is. So it looks like the Titans have a 39-24 lead at halftime against the Southwest Oregon Lakers. There it is. So it looks like the Titans have a 39-24 lead at halftime against the Southwest Oregon Lakers. The next game for Chemeketa will be the Lakers. I'm sorry, the next game for Chemeketa will be Lane. So they will have the task of getting the unbeaten Lane Titans at home. Lane currently 22-0, looking to be 23-0 with a win tonight against the Southwest Oregon Lakers. Other scores within the conference include a 32-25 lead for the Len Benton Roadrunners. They are beating the Umpqua Riverhawks. And the PCC Panthers have a 2-point edge with 30 seconds to go in the first half against the Clark Penguins. That score currently 31-29. And we'll have the men's scores a little later. We'll be checking in on those as well. At least right now for the women, a lot of interesting games going on right now. As the Saints trying to get their first win in 6 games. Their last win again came in that double overtime victory at Clark back on January 18th. So it has been about a few weeks now since they've won a game. They've only won 2 games thus far in the month of January and the year of 2023. As for Chemeketa, they had 6 losses, but they did win 2 games in between. And again, one of those 6 losses came to the Saints back on January the 11th. 67-65 victory for the Saints. One of the Saints' only wins against conference opponents, as they are 2-7 overall. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be back with you for the second half in 5 minutes. So with just about 90 seconds remaining until the third quarter, 30-25 lead for the Saints. Conard leading the way with 15 points after putting down 5 3-pointers in that first half. He's been outstanding in these first 20 minutes. Just a reminder that coming up next, we have the men's game between these same two teams. That one tipping off when this one ends, and a little bit of an intermission will be in between, and that one will be starting at about 7:30. We will have a separate second stream just for that one. Here in the third quarter, the teams will switch sides. So the Saints will be moving from right to left. Storm will be moving from left to right. 30 seconds until we can begin the third quarter. Saints again wearing their all-white unis. Chemeketa in all black with green numbers. Saints with red numbers. For the Saints, starting 5 in the second half are going to be Hoylman, Conard, Knudsen, Johnson, and Patterson. And it looks like for the Storm, it will be Glenzel, Kent, Bolden, Peterson, and Tyler. Same starting 5 we had in the first half. 20 minutes down, 20 minutes to go here in Gresham, as it will be Hoylman to inbound the ball to begin the third quarter. And Conard ready for it, and she gets it right at the timeline and gets it back across to Hoylman. So Hoylman on the right side gets back over to Knudsen. Knudsen with a pass, tipped, back out Johnson over to Conard. Now it's Johnson over to Conard. Thought about a 3, didn't take it. Now it is Patterson, jumper, off the iron, no good, and the rebound will be taken by Tyler, who gives it over to Glenzel. Back over comes Peterson. Peterson over to Ken on that left side, gets it back over to Peterson. Peterson gets it over to Glenzel, back over to Peterson. Looks to the inside, gets it over to Bolden, back to Glenzel, and Glenzel moves to the inside, gets it across. Bolden, a shot off the iron and rebounded by Johnson. So Johnson gets it to Hoylman. Hoylman moves to the inside, looks for a pass, gets it back out to Conard. Conard over to Hoylman. Hoylman back to Conard, over to Johnson. Johnson inside, now gets it back outside to Hoylman, to Conard. Now to Knudsen. Knudsen back over to Conard. 10 to shoot, tipped, caught, and that's Patterson, puts up the double. It's no good, and Chemeketa gets the rebound. Here is Peterson. Peterson with a bounce pass, hardly to Glenzel, gets it back to Peterson. And now it's Peterson at the top on the logo. Moves to that left side, gets it back over. Now is Bolden over to the right side. Glenzel gets it back over to Bolden. Bolden moves to the inside, puts up the shot, and no good. Tipped right back out to Knudsen. Now the Saints bring it the other way. No points scored here in the first 90 seconds of quarter number 3. Now is Johnson. Gives it over to Hoylman. Hoylman back to Johnson. Johnson over to Knudsen. Knudsen looked at Conard. Did not pass. Now she does. Now is Conard running to the top of the circle. Gets it over Hoylman, who's going to take a 3. And it's off the iron. No good. Looked online, but just short as it hits the left side of that rim. And now Peterson will bring it back up now for the Storm. Back over to Glenzel. Glenzel over to Peterson. Peterson back over. Now is Tyler. Tyler moves to the inside, puts up the shot. It's no good, and no call there. And now it's Knudsen to get the rebound. I'm sorry, that was Patterson to get the rebound. It was Knudsen to get it from Patterson, and now Conard has it. Over to Hoylman. Hoylman runs to the right side. Now looks for a passing lane. Gets it. It's tipped and intercepted. Back come the Storm. Glenzel on the breakaway. Puts up the shot. It's short. Rebounded by the Saints. Back now. Here comes Knudsen. Long pass over to Conard for 2. Off the iron, no. And still nobody has scored in the second half, and we're nearly 3 minutes into it. Back over to Peterson. Peterson gets it back over to Glenzel. Glenzel dribbling, gets it across. Now Tyler takes the jumper. No good. Rebounded by Johnson. 7:10 to go, and still no points here in quarter number 3. Back over Conard. She's going to take a 3. Off the iron. Almost her 6th three-pointer of the game. And now here comes Peterson. Peterson with a pass on the right side. Gets it to Bolden. Bolden, a long pass tipped. Picked off. Conard couldn't get it. And dribbles it off the foot. And that will take us to a timeout as Chemeketa will inbound it. So some substitutions now. Patterson and Hoylman come out. And Kosmicki and Meek come in. So here is Kent on the far side, right side. Gets it into Peterson. Gets it back over to Kent. Kent looking, long pass to Peterson. Peterson now over. Gets it to Glenzel. Glenzel with a shot, no good. Rebounded by the Saints, and now they bring it up the other way. And now it's Meek to get it over to Johnson. Takes a three. Off the iron, tipped and into the hands of the Storm. Here comes Wadsworth. Wadsworth gets it over to Peterson. Peterson now dribbles on that right side, gets it over to Glenzel, back over to Peterson, inside to Wadsworth. Now a right side three on its way. Off the iron, no. Rebounded by Vasquez, and now pass is tipped and intercepted. Nearly 4 minutes into this third quarter, and still nobody has scored. Here comes Johnson. Gets the pass from Knutson. Waits at the top of the circle. Passes it over to Kosmicki. Kosmicki had an opening inside the lane and now gets it over to Conard. Now to Johnson. Now back to Knutson. Kosmicki puts up the double. Can't put it in. Here come the Storm. Here is Peterson, and a mishandled pass by Kent. We'll give the ball back to the Saints, as now it will be Knutson to inbound it on the right side, near side. 5:53 to go here in the third quarter. Still a 30-25 Saints lead, which was our same score at halftime. So here come the Saints. Conard passes it over to Meek. Meek looking, gets it. Tip, passes, handled and mishandled, and now it's intercepted by the Storm. Here comes Kent on that right side. Kent looking, looks to Peterson, gets it to her. Peterson, long pass over. Now it is Vasquez, gets it back over to Kent, over to Vasquez. Vasquez, and now a foul is called. And the foul is going to be called on Wadsworth. So the Saints will get the inbound. So Knutson will inbound it to Conard. Underneath the basket on the right side, and Conard will bring it up the floor. Runs across the timeline. Gets it across over to Johnson. Johnson waits, gets it to Kosmicki. Kosmicki over to Meek, a three on the left side. Off the iron, no good, rebounded by herself. Now gets it to Meek. Meek runs to the top of the key, gets it back over to Johnson. Johnson looking, gets over to Conard. Conard looking, has two defenders. Here's a pass inside to Meek, over to Knutson. Three, top of the key, no good, backboard. And the rebound is to Chemeketa. Halfway through this third quarter, and nobody has scored. So here is Vasquez, a whistle. And whistle on a timeout by Chemeketa with 4:49 to go, and it's still that 30-25 halftime score. The Saints still holding on to that 5-point lead. They have not lost it yet, but then again, nobody's scored in this third quarter. And we have less than half of it to go. 4:49 remaining. 23 on the shot clock. So it'll be Chemeketa ball when we come out of the timeout. They will inbound it from that near side on the right. Coming up with some strategies on both sides. Looks like Coach Brown giving his team some advice. They'll be on defense. As for the Chemeketa coach, looks like they will be drawing up a play here. And now the officials trying to regroup both teams as the timeout has ended. They've had to sound the buzzer twice now. So out of the timeout now, it will be handled on that right side, and the inbound pass will actually come from underneath the basket. And now it will be coming from that near side on the right. Now the big question is, who will get the first points in the second half? Kent will inbound it, and she gets it across to Vasquez, who puts up the shot, and it's off, no good, but a foul is called. And perhaps now we will get our first points of half number 2. So it'll be Vasquez. Vasquez will go to the line. 62% free throw shooter, and she misses the first. It's the curse of the second half points. See if she can put one down and give us the first point of quarter number 3 as she fires the second and hits it. And finally, somebody scored in this third quarter. Took 5 minutes and 14 seconds, and it was only 1 point. So the Saints still have a 4-point lead. So here comes Conard, gets it over to Meek. Meek looking to the inside to Conard. Conard has Knudsen on the right side. Now gets a block. Conard runs back over to that left side. Looking, gets it back across. And now here is Meek, gets it to the inside, puts up the shot, no good, collects her own rebound, puts it back up, and no good, and the pass is tipped, and it's going to be retained by the Saints. As the foul was called. Looked like we had a foul, but seems like it'll just be an inbound pass from underneath the basket, and it's tipped and kicked by Vasquez out of bounds, and Johnson will have to inbound it again. Underneath that basket on the left side, Johnson with a long pass to Meek. She catches it over the shoulder, looks to the inside, gets it to Kosmicki, who puts up the shot, can't put it in, tipped out and intercepted, and now it's going to be retained. It's out of play, and it went off of Chemeketa. So it'll be the Saints with possession. Substitution time for the Storm. As now it'll be Glenzel to come back into the game. She'll be taking the place of Kent. So they reset the shot clock, 20 seconds, 4:11 to go here in quarter number 3. So now it'll be Knudsen to inbound it to Johnson. Johnson at the top of the key, moves over to the left side. Handoff pass to Kosmicki, inside the lane, gets it back, tries to find someone. She finds Johnson, top of the key. Johnson faked the 3, gets it to Conard. Conard looking, 2 to shoot, shot clock violation. As that one goes off the rim, no good. It was tipped and possession retained by the Saints. As now the Chemeketa coach getting into it with the officials, claiming it didn't hit anything. I believe it did hit the rim. Hit the very bottom of the rim, but it did hit the rim. As Conard will get the inbound pass from Johnson. Conard spins, and now a charge is called against Conard. And Chemeketa will have control once again with 3:43 to go here in the third quarter. So now Peterson will look to inbound it, and she will have Glenzel right there to collect the inbound pass, as it's a quick tip back to Peterson. Glenzel wanted nothing to do with that basketball, and now she will have to deal with it. Now she gets it over to Vasquez. Vasquez puts up the shot, no good. It's tipped, retained by Vasquez, puts up another shot, she puts it in. So the first 3 points of the second half have gone to Chemeketa. It's a 1-point game, 30-29, as Conard has it on the right wing. Pass out to Kosmicki. Kosmicki backs up on that left wing. Now moves inside, looks. Conard mishandled the pass. It's out of play, and possession to Chemeketa. And with 3:15 to go here in the third quarter, it is just a 2-point game, as Mount Hood is a 30-28 lead here in the second half. And we are taking yet another media timeout as the guys look set to play their game next. We've played 6 minutes and 45 seconds of the third quarter, and we only have 3 points, and all 3 points coming from the Storm. It took 5 minutes and 14 seconds to get the first point, and it came on a free throw from Vasquez after she was fouled trying to put up a 2, and a little bit of tension on the free throw as she actually missed the first, but she put down the second to give us our first points of the third quarter. And now Coach Brown, ecstatic, looking to build his lead that he has of 2, has shrunk since halftime of 5. And the Saints will be on defense to begin play out of the timeout. And it looks like the Storm's still in the huddle. And coach giving his team final word before going back to the bench. And it looks like the inbound pass is going to be coming from the far side on the left side, and it will be Peterson to collect the basketball from the official, and she will inbound it, and she will get it into Glenzel. And Glenzel gets it back over to Peterson, back to Glenzel, now back to Peterson, back over to Glenzel. Glenzel over to Vasquez. Vasquez going to take a three for the lead. It's off the iron, no good, and rebounded by the Saints. And now Conard has it. She was fouled, and the foul was called on Bella Vasquez. Second team foul for the Storm here in the third quarter, as Knutson will inbound it to Conard, who brings it up the timeline. Conard slowly making her way to the offensive zone, gets it back over to Knutson on the right wing. Knutson looks for a pass. She gets it across to Patterson. Patterson back over to Conard. Conard gets it into Johnson. Johnson spins to the inside. Tries to put up a shot and cannot. It's rebounded by Patterson, who cannot make the save. We got a whistle and another turnover as Chemeketa will have possession. And now Coach Brown in disbelief as the foul was called on Johnson. So it'll be Peterson to collect the inbound pass, or it will be Peterson to inbound it, and it'll be Glenzel to collect the inbound pass as she gets it over to Peterson, back over to Glenzel, back over to Peterson. They're playing back and forth now. So here comes Glenzel, gets it over to Vasquez on that right side, gets it across now, as it was the other, or no, that is Wadsworth. Wadsworth gets it over to Glenzel for three. She was fouled. So it's 3 shots coming, and the foul was called on Kosmicki. So now 3 free throws coming up for Glenzel. And Glenzel, who is a 71% free throw shooter, attempts her first of 3 and puts it down to make this a 1-point game. Second free throw on the way to tie it. It's good. And now this is the important free throw to give Chemeketa their first lead of the second half. Right now in a tie ball game, 30 apiece. And that one is good. So she hits all 3. And now the Saints will get the inbound. And it will be Conard to bring it up the floor. Conard gets it over to Knutson. Knutson looks for a passing lane. Now gets it across now, Patterson. Patterson looking to throw it somewhere. Hands off to Conard. Conard moves inside the circle, puts up a shot, no good. She can collect her own pass, she cannot. And now on the ground, it's a foul against Chemeketa. And the foul is going to be called on Kent. And it will be an inbound for the Saints underneath the basket. It'll be Johnson to get the inbound pass on the left side. Substitution time, so Vasquez comes out of the game as Johnson gets it into Patterson. Patterson looking for someone. Looking, spins, floats, puts it up, no good, and it's intercepted by the Storm. So here's Glenzel, passes it over to Peterson. Peterson gets it back to Glenzel. Glenzel over to Peterson. Peterson gets it to Kent on that left side. Gets it back over, and here is Tyler. Pass out of bounds, but she was fouled. So it was Patterson who was called for the foul, pushing foul. And now it'll be free throws coming for Tyler. Tyler, who is a 56% free throw shooter, makes the first, and Chemeketa has a 2-point lead. So 90 seconds to go here in the third quarter, 32-30, and now 33-30 Chemeketa as both free throws will go down. Conard collects the inbound pass and now brings it up very quickly, gets it over to Hoyleman. Looks like Meek will be coming back into the game as she stands in the substitution area. Knutson at the top of the key, moves to the inside, passes back out to Conard. Conard looks, tries to move. Knutson at the top of the key, moves to the inside, passes back out to Conard. Conard looks, tries to move inside, pass, spin, puts up the shot, no good, and is fouled. So it's a 2-shot foul. And the foul was called on Kent. Number 2 on number 2. And now free throws coming for Conard, who hasn't had any points except for those threes. And Conard, who is a 64% free throw shooter on the season, looks to make the first and does not, as that one rattles out. And it remains a 3-point Storm lead. So now Conard will attempt her second free throw. And that one's off no good. She missed both, and Kent with the easy rebound. Now crosses the timeline, looks for someone to pass to. Got Peterson, gets it to her. Peterson backs up, looking for someone. Now moves, gets it back to Kent. Kent with a pass, gets it back to Peterson. Peterson thought about a 3, now passes it back to Kent. 12 to shoot, gets it into Tyler. Tyler moving. Tyler tries to put up the shot. She's got to move somewhere, and she gets it over to Glenzel. 5 to shoot, 4 to shoot. Glenzel moving. Here's a 3 at the buzzer. It's no good. Johnson the rebound. So the Saints will get it with 38.8 seconds to go in the third quarter, down by 3 as Conard gets the inbound pass from Johnson and quickly gives it back to her. So Johnson will be the one to bring it up the floor. She crosses the timeline on the left side. Johnson motioning her teammates out. Now Johnson moves to the inside, gets it over to Knutson. Knutson on the left side, gets it over to Johnson. Johnson thought about a 3, did not take it. Looking for someone to pass to. She has got Knutson. Knutson has to get it somewhere. It's tipped and taken away by Chemeketa. 13 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Chemeketa can hold out for the final shot as it's Bolin to bring it up. Gets it over to Glenzel. 6 seconds to go. Back over to Kent. Tyler is fouled. So the foul is going to be against Knutson. And 2 shots are coming for Tyler, who is a 56% free throw shooter on the season. I believe I mentioned that already, but just relaying that information again. And the first free throw is in and out. Still has one more. 4.5 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Gets the basketball, dribbles on that right side hoop. Attempts the second and puts it down. Chemeketa by 4. Down to 3 seconds to go. And now, here's Hoylman, 3 at the buzzer. And that one hit the shot clock. She threw that one super high. It went off the shot clock, and it almost went in. It hit the side of the rim after bouncing directly off the shot clock. But that's the end of 3 quarters here in Gresham. And Chemeketa with a 34-30 lead against the Saints. Those cheers coming from the softball team here in attendance tonight as they are cheering on their Saints down by 4 with just 10 minutes remaining in this one. Saints trying to end a 5-game losing skid. As for the Storm, trying to win their 2nd in a row after losing 6 in a row. So the start of the 4th quarter will have the Storm inbounding from the far side. Coach Brown giving some coaching tips to his team, and the 4th quarter is underway as Kent will inbound it to Peterson. Peterson crosses the timeline, gets it to Glenzel. Glenzel back over to Peterson, gets it over to Kent. Kent now moves to the inside. Kent has a wide open lane, puts it in. Storm lead by 6, 9:45 to go. Conard with it, brings it across, now spins, goes back towards the logo. Conard now jukes, moves inside the lane, and now bounce pass is too far from a shot from Meek, and the Storm retain possession and have it. And now it is Bolden on the left side, gets it back over to Kent. Kent gets it to Tyler. Tyler over to Glenzel, and Glenzel, a tip pass is going to be retained by the Storm. as that was a shot attempted by Peterson. And Peterson will now be the one to inbound it. She gets it into Kent. Kent over to Peterson. Peterson back over to Kent. Kent over to Tyler. Tyler inside the lane, puts up the shot, is fouled, and she can't put it in, but 2 free throws coming anyway. With the Storm up by 6, and the foul is called on Johnson. So again, 56% free throw shooter is listed before, and she misses the first, keeping this at a 6-point game with 9:11 to go here in the final frame. Second free throw on his way, no good, and rebounded by Meek. Meek's jukes, fakes, move, pass tipped, it's picked off, but it's Glenzel who runs right out of bounds, and the Saints will retain possession. Almost had a chance of a breakaway. It was a good-looking pass tipped, but she tipped it right to herself on the sideline, and she stepped out of bounds. So now Knutson will inbound it. Far side, Connard looking, she's got it. Waiting to cross the timeline, guarded by Kent. Connard with a pass out to Hoylman. Hoylman moves to the right side, gets it back out Knutson. Knutson inside the key, gets it out. Here's a 3, left side. It's off, no good, and the rebound tipped, and it's going to be retained by Mount Hood, as it was the Storm tipped it. And now it will be the Saints to inbound from underneath the basket. So it'll be Johnson to be responsible for the inbound. Everybody running around. Hoylman gets the inbound pass. It was tipped by Glenzel. Gets it to Meek. Meek was looking at a 3. Now passes it back out. It's Hoylman at the top of the key. Gets it over to Connard. Connard, she's going to step. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it across now. It's intercepted by the Storm, and here comes Bolden. Bolden gets it to Peterson. Peterson now hustles across the timeline. Gets it across. Glenzel, left side 3. Off the iron, rebounded by Knutson. And now the Saints bring it back up the floor, down by 6. 8:18 to go here, fourth quarter. Gets it across. Johnson fakes a 3, now moves inside, puts up the shot, and off the iron, no good, and rebounded by Peterson. Peterson hustles across. Peterson waits, gets it across now to Bolden. Bolden to Kent. Kent on the left side, puts up a double, and can't put it in, right in the arms of Hoylman, who brings it up the floor. Crosses the timeline, and now a whistle, and a foul is called on Kent. Substitution time. Kosmicki will be coming into the game. Connard will be coming out of the game. And the Saints will inbound from the left side on the far side, as it'll be Hoylman to handle the inbounding duties. As Hoylman will throw it in to Knutson. Knutson on the logo. Now gets it back over to Hoylman. Hoylman with a pass, gets it out. Meek. Meek on the right side, gets it back over. Johnson gets it across. Hoylman puts up the jumper, can't put it in, but she is fouled and will go to the line. The foul is on Vasquez. And now Hoylman, who is a 64% free throw shooter on the season, will look to give Mount Hood their first points of the second half, and that one's no good. And now here's the second one on its way. That one is good, and Mount Hood has their first point of half number 2. So now it's Peterson. Gets it across now to Kent. Back over Peterson. Back over to Kent. Kent gets it across Bolden. Bolden on that right side. Gets it across now Kent to Tyler. Moves to the inside. Pass back out Kent. 15 on the shot clock. Gets it back over to Tyler. Over to Vasquez. Moves inside. Pass tipped. And it was picked, and possession going to be to the Saints. It has been 6-1 in favor of Chemeketa in the second half. Most of those points coming here in the fourth. Here's Hoylman. Gets it over to Kosmicki. Back over Hoylman. On the logo. Now looking. Gets it back over Kosmicki, right wing. Gets it to the inside to Meek. Meek with a long pass. Johnson for 3. Off the iron. Rebounded by Tyler, who gets it to Peterson. Peterson now crosses the timeline. Looking for someone to pass to. Knutson on her. Gets it over to Vasquez. Vasquez over to Kent. Kent on the left wing. Stops. Passes to Tyler. Tyler with a shot and puts it in with a foul. back to the line for yet another free throw for Tyler to complete the three-point play and give Chemeketa a lead of 8. Right now the lead is 7, 38-31, 6:42 to go here in the game. Sit in, and it's an 8-point lead, 39-31 in favor of Chemeketa. 6:40 to go here in the game. Hoylman brings it up. Now on the logo, stops, passes it out. Kosmicki, who gets it to Patterson. Patterson back over to Hoylman. Hoylman looks for someone to pass to. Knutson is open, but does not get it. Hoylman gets it back over to Kosmicki, 10 to shoot. Kosmicki inside the lane, gets it up, and it's tipped back over to Patterson, puts up the shot, can't put it in, it's tipped back out. 3 seconds on the shot clock, and now it's rolled out of bounds, and possession is to Chemeketa. Or no, it is to Mount Hood. So Johnson will inbound it from underneath the basket. Saints down 8 with 6:10 to go here in the final frame. Hoylman gets it over to Patterson. Patterson gets it over to Knutson. Knutson dribbles inside the key, now outside. Now gets it back to the inside. 5 to go on the shot clock. Hoylman inside, spins, puts up the shot, and in! There's a 2, and it's a 6-point game with 5:50 to go. Here's Peterson, gets it across Bolden. Bolden on the left side. Pass over to Vasquez, puts up the shot, and puts it in. The rebuttal. And now we have a timeout on the floor. And a media timeout with 5:37 remaining here in this game. And an 8-point lead for the Storm, 41-33. As the Saints have scored just 3 points in the second half. They were shut out the entire third quarter. The Storm only had 1 point, I believe, or they had 3 points in that third quarter. We'll have to go back and look to see what that score was at the end of 3. I cannot really remember. But it was 30-25 at halftime. Right now, 16 points in the second half for the Storm. Just 3 for Mount Hood. As they're down to their final 5.5 minutes. 5-game losing streak. Trying to end it. But by the looks of it, it might go to 6 if they can't come back in this one. Just 2 fouls on each team in this quarter. And now out of the timeout, it will be possession to Chemeketa with an 8-point lead. And they'll try to add to their lead, as they have not had more than an 8-point lead in this one. Or possession will be Mount Hood, actually, and it will be Knutson to get it into Hoylman. And now Hoylman crosses the timeline, and now gets it across now to Knutson. Knutson gets it over to Johnson. Johnson looking, tries to find somebody. It's a long pass over to Patterson. Looked at Kosmicki, kept it herself, now gets it to Kosmicki. 12 to shoot. Kosmicki on the right wing. Looks, gets it to Johnson. Johnson gonna take a 3. And it's off the iron, rebounded, and we got a jump ball. And no, it was called out of bounds off of Mount Hood as somebody has stepped out of bounds, so does Chemeketa ball. So Kent will get the inbound pass from Peterson, who gets it back over to Kent, back over to Peterson. And now 2 defenders on her. Kent's got the ball, now dribbles inside, whistle, and another foul is called, and that one is going to be on Johnson. Now it looks like Connard is going to be coming back into the game, as now she will be subbing out for Johnson. And now it will be Peterson to inbound it to Glenzel, who gets it back over to Kent. Kent gets it over, now Peterson back over to Kent. Kent gets it back over to Tyler. Tyler to Glenzel, and she puts it up and in, and it's a 10-point lead. So here come the Saints back again. Connard dribbles it inside the lane, pushes off, And now it's Chemeketa the other way. So here is Vasquez, 2 defenders on her, whistle, and another foul is going to be called. And that one's going to go against Conard. And the inbound is going to be coming from Peterson. From the far side on the right side. And Peterson will get the inbound, and she gets it in to Kent, who crosses the timeline. Across now, back over to Glenzel, gets it back over to Kent, gets it back over Peterson, now gets it over, back comes Kent, moves inside, puts up the shot, can't put it in, rebounded offensively, kept alive, back over Peterson, who takes a three and can't put it down, and the rebound is collected by Knutson. Now she passes it out, and it will be Hoylman to bring it up the floor. Hoylman at the top of the key, now moves, gives it to Conard, takes another three, and got it! Conard with her 6th three of the game. She's up to 18 points. As now Chemeketa will bring it the other way with 3:50 to go. So here comes Peterson, and it's intercepted by Kosmicki. On a breakaway, looking, and now a foul, and a charge is going to be called against Kosmicki. And Chemeketa will get the ball back. So the shot does not go in favor of Mount Hood, as that one was called on Kosmicki for a charge. And now here comes Peterson. And now Peterson dribbles, gets it over to Kent. Kent gets it across, now over to Bolden. Bolden with a pass, almost mishandled, now gets it back. And now it is mishandled, but Wadsworth, and now another foul. And Hoylman's going to be called for the foul. And some free throws coming with 3:24 to go here in this one. Chemeketa leading by 7. So Wadsworth, who is a 58% free throw shooter, will look at the first and knock it down, and it's an 8-point Storm lead. Still got a second one on the way. Just to make it a 9-point lead, and it is off the rim, no good. Johnson the rebound. Johnson, and a foul is going to be called, and that foul is going to go against Bolden. And now it'll be Knutson to inbound it. It looks like Conard is going to collect the inbound pass with 3:20 to go here in the fourth quarter. And she gets it back over to Knutson, who crosses the timeline. Knutson waits, top of the key, now gets it across. Conard, another three. Oh my goodness, make it 7. Conard with 21, and it's back to a 5-point game. So here's Bolden, gets it across now to Kent. Kent moves inside, puts up a jumper, can't put it in, rebounded and collected by Mount Hood. Now Conard gets the pass. Conard with 2 defenders, and a travel is called, and Chemeketa takes over. So the inbound pass is going to be coming in from Peterson with just under 3 minutes to go here in the game, and a close 5-point affair between these two teams. So here is Peterson. Gets it into Glenzel. Glenzel with a long pass collected by Kent. Kent gets it back over to Peterson. Peterson back over to Kent. Back over to Peterson. Over to Glenzel. On the left wing, long pass to Kent. Kent over to Bolden. Bolden moves to the inside and now passes right off the hip of Patterson and into the arms of Knutson. Over comes Johnson. Johnson gets it to Hoylman. Hoylman looks, gets it to Johnson. Johnson backs up, has space. Motion her teammates forward, gets it to Conard. Conard, who's got 21 points, gets it over to Johnson, takes a 3, air ball, and out of play. So with 2:11 to go here in this game, It's still a 5-point Storm lead, and they will take over. And hello, Mr. Jake Rowe.
How's it going? It's good to be here.
So it'll be Glenzel to inbound it to Kent, who gets it back over to Glenzel. Glenzel with a long pass collected by Bolden. Bolden inside the lane, gets it back out to Kent. Kent now moves to the inside, puts up a shot. It's off the backboard, but she gets fouled. And now we'll go to the line with exactly 2 minutes to go. Foul is going to go against Patterson. So Kent, who is a 61% free throw shooter on the season. It's a 2-shot foul. Eyes the first and got it. So it's a 6-point lead, 45-39, 2 minutes exactly remaining here in the fourth quarter. It's a 6-point lead, and the Saints right now looking at a 6-game losing streak. As the second free throw is up, and it's off the iron, and it's collected, and it's going to be rebounded offensively out of play, and possession will go to Mount Hood. It'll be the Saints to inbound. It will be Knudsen to handle the inbound pass. Looks like she will get it into Connard. Connard gets it back over to Knudsen, who crosses the timeline. Now moves to that right side, gets it back over. Now she moves to the left, gets it to Connard. Connard going to take another three, and it's an air ball. And now we got a whistle, and possession going to change, and it's going to be Chemeketa to take over possession with 106 seconds remaining. So here is Kent. She will inbound it, gets it over to Bolden. Bolden's got 2 defenders on her, spins, and now passes out. Picked, and the Saints have it in the offensive zone. Here's Hoyleman, gets it over, and now it's Johnson, gets it back over to Hoyleman. Hoyleman spins inside, gets it to Johnson. Johnson gonna take a three. It's off the iron, rebounded, tipped into the arms of Tyler, and Chemeketa will bring it back to floor the other way. As now it'll be Kent with 1:20 to go. Here's Kent, gets it over to Bolden. Bolden to Tyler on the inside. Tyler stepped out of bounds, but possession is going to be retained by Chemeketa. Peterson's going to handle the inbound pass. She's handled a lot of the inbound passes in this game. She's thrown a lot of high inbound passes. She gets it into Tyler, gets it over to Glenzel. Back over now, Vasquez, top of the circle. Gets it back over. Here's Glenzel moving now towards the logo. Just about a minute to go here in the game. Back across, here's Tyler, moves inside the lane, puts up the shot and puts it in. And the Storm now lead it by 8. So here comes Hoyleman, up the floor. Saints have 53 seconds and they're down 8. Here's Hoyleman, spins, passes over. Here's Patterson, and then now a whistle. And we have a foul. And that one is going to go against Tyler. And it will send Patterson to the line for some free throws. Patterson, who is a 51% free throw shooter. See if she can pull the Saints back a little closer. The first one is good, which makes it a 7-point game. 47-40 with 48.6 seconds to go. Second free throw on its way, and that one is also good. She got both. And now a timeout is going to be called by Chemeketa. So, Jake, just a 6-point difference, but there's only 48 seconds to go.
The Saints coming on here in the last few minutes of this game. You could see the momentum change. A few foul calls not going Saints' way in the last 5 minutes. Coach Alex Brown really struggling to see where these foul calls are coming from. The charge on Kosmecki earlier really changed the game and changed the momentum, whereas it could have been a 3-point play and really changed the game.
And Jake, you missed most of it, but Connard, who has 21 points, has made all 21 points off 7 3-pointers. So she's the big shooter tonight.
That's huge for the team. If she can carry that into the next game, that would be great.
She only had 5 points in the loss on Saturday against Len Benton. She's got 21 tonight. She leads the way. So Chemeketa going to be on offense. Out of the timeout with 48 seconds to go and a 6-point lead. And Jake, do you expect maybe we see some fouls here?
Yeah, I expect to go for the steal and then possibly a foul, and then jacking up a lot of threes here.
So here's Peterson, gets it into Tyler. Tyler gets it over, now is Vasquez. Vasquez, and now she's going to get fouled. And there you go, as the Saints will commit yet another foul, their 5th of the quarter. And it'll be Vasquez to attempt free throws, 62% on the season. She tries to put the score up by 3 possessions.
Big free throws here.
Right in front of the Mount Hood fan base. And the first free throw is up, and it's off the back iron.
Ooh, a lot of nerves off the back iron.
And Coach Brown giving us a hint that he's going to call a timeout if the second free throw is missed. And it is, and rebounded. It's going to be rebounded by Hoyleman and timeout taken by Coach Brown. And that's a very strategic play right there, Jake.
Yeah, almost the offensive rebound there, but they were able to get it and call the timeout. Safety at last.
So with 42.2 seconds remaining, Saints still down by 6. Do you go for a 2 or do you go for a 3 here?
I see them going for a 3. I imagine they go to the hot hand tonight and try and get that 8 3-pointer. And then I imagine they go for the inbounds, and if not, another foul and try the same thing again.
The Saints have only been in one overtime game this season. That was against Clark. It was a 79-78 victory in double overtime. That came back on January the 11th. And here they find themselves down 6 with under a minute remaining, as Knudsen looks like she will handle the inbound duties from the left side on the far side as she gets it into Hoyleman. Hoyleman waits. Time running out here from Mount Hood. Gets it over to Knudsen. Knudsen back over to Johnson. Johnson is going to get it back to Knudsen. Knudsen back over to Johnson. Johnson gets it over to Hoyleman. Now here's Knudsen for 3. It's an air ball and out of bounds. So not exactly what they wanted to do. They still find themselves down 6, and now they're going to have to foul yet again.
Last few 3-point attempts have been air balls. Strange considering how hot they were earlier tonight.
So here is Glunzel. She will inbound it from underneath the basket, and she gets it into Peterson, who will not get fouled just yet. They're trying to make her
Hands
step out
up.
of bounds. She did. She stepped out of bounds, and the Saints will get possession. And the pressure from Mount Hood late in the game gives them the ball, and what a very strategic move by the 2 defenders there.
Great trap. Great execution by the Saints there.
And she only stepped out of bounds with her tippy toes, but that's all that matters. As Conard now gets the inbound pass and gets it over to Hoyleman. Back over to Conard for her 8-3. Got it! Are you kidding me?
What a game.
24 points for Conard, and the Saints are back to within 3 as Peterson gets it. 7 seconds to go and a foul. And the foul is going to go against Conard.
I'm not sure what they were doing there. They waited a long time, wasted a lot of time off the clock there.
So
not fouling.
So now they only have 6 seconds. It's a 3-point game, so you have to hope that Glunzel misses these free throws.
Now that could have cost them the game if they make these free throws.
So Coach Brown does still have a timeout to use if she indeed does miss free throws. We'll see if they can tie it up. And the first free throw on its way is good, and that is crucial, Jake. Puts them up by 2 scores.
That is really hard. Now they just don't really have enough time.
So do you expect a timeout even after she makes the second one?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here's the second one on its way. Missed it. Rebounded by Patterson. Timeout Saints. 5.7 to go.
What a game. This could be an incredible comeback if they can pull this off.
And this has turned into one of the closest games that I've seen this season. Of course, they've had close games on the road, but
they're going to try and draw a foul here, surely, on this 3-point attempt. And they're going to have to get a quick one. Only 5.7 seconds, a 4-point game. That means they're going to have to foul as soon as they make the shot and then heave another shot after the miss of the free throw.
So they're down 4. So do they go for the 3 ball or do they try to work the inside and maybe get a foul drawn?
I think they have to go for the tie and the foul with the 3. because otherwise I don't know if they're even going to have enough time after the missed free throw. Do they have another timeout?
I don't think so.
This is a really sticky situation for Mount Hood.
They lost by just 2 points on Saturday. They're down by 4 right now. There's been a lot of close games as Hoyleman will inbound it. They await the defense now of Chemeketa. So now they make their way to the floor, and Hoyleman gonna inbound it from the far side. Looking for someone to get it into. Now hustling over, and now they might be out of time. And that's a 5-second violation, and they turn it over.
Wow.
And that might be it.
Wow.
Because they're going to have to foul again with 5 seconds to go. Timeout, Chemeketa. In this game, that might be all she wrote, Jake.
A costly heartbreak. Another one here. Last time losing to Lynn Benton by 2. It looks like they also had a strong second half, but wasn't quite able to pull it off. That would be another second half comeback that they just could not close out. This team has it in them, but the question is, can they bring it in the first half?
Well, they had a halftime lead of 30-25. They did not score at all in the third quarter. They finally got their first bucket in the fourth quarter, and by then they were down by 6.
Boy, they were hot in the fourth, but really couldn't pull it up.
And Conard, who has 24 points, she's got 8 3-pointers in this game, Jake. But
A career game.
It's just not going to be enough, it looks like.
They're going to have to get a quick foul, maybe a steal, but a steal wouldn't do them much good. Oh, good defense.
So Knudsen will tip the inbound pass. It goes back out of bounds. Only took 0.6 of a second off. Now they reset it. 5.6 left. So it'll be Peterson to handle the inbound once again. Peterson looks the inbound. Looking at Kent. There's a long pass, and there's Glenzel. Oh, my goodness. That was almost like a football tackle there, Jake.
Yeah, she wasn't going for the ball in that one, that's for sure.
Kind of like those pass interferences where you're not even looking at the ball. She wasn't even looking at the basketball.
Right.
So Hoyleman is called for the foul. It was Glenzel, who was at the line last time, made both of them to put Chemeketa up by 4. See here if she can make this a 5-point lead, and she does. So it's 49-44 now with 4.6 seconds to go. And now here comes the second free throw. On its way. And it's good. And now timeout Saints. So there's the answer to your question, Jake. They did have a timeout remaining. I don't really know how many timeouts they have left now.
They had a chance.
So with the timeout, they can advance the ball.
Glenzel, a really good free throw shooter tonight. Form holding up.
And that's where they've been getting a lot of points, Jake, from the free throw line. Mount Hood winning a lot of fouls in this one.
I'm sure Alex Brown can't be happy with officiating in the second half because they're down 6, and it seems like there are about 3 calls where they could have gotten 6 points off those 3 possessions.
During the halftime break, he was having a discussion with the officials, kind of throwing them under the bus a little bit. But, they're the officials from the conference, so whatever they say goes.
It's a foul if they call it.
So now it's a 6-point Storm lead, 50-44, with just 4.5 seconds remaining. Saints, who have lost 5 in a row, now looking at a 6th straight loss. They have another game here on Sunday against the Southwest Oregon Lakers, who are currently playing against the unbeaten Lane Titans. And last I checked that score, they were losing by 15. So looks like both those teams on Sunday will be coming off a loss. So that should be an interesting matchup starting at 2 o'clock on Sunday. So here's Hoyleman. She will inbound it. Here's Conard. Conard with 2 seconds. Get to the Knudsen, and a 3 is an air ball, and that's going to do it. The Chemeketa Storm come in and get a 50-44 win here against the Mount Hood Saints, as now the guys take the floor, and we have that game coming up next. a 6th straight loss for Coach Alex Brown and the Saints, Jake. And I mean, what do you do?
You got to just go into the next game and forget about this one. There's a lot to build on from that second half. They really needed to just pick it up in the first. The last 2 games, getting beaten down in the first half and coming back in the second, but not being able to close out. If they just had a few more points in the first half, that could have been all the difference.
So checking some scores here as we get to our next game here between the Saints and the Storm for the men's side. The men coming off a 85-82 win against Len Benton on Saturday, and the Chemeketa men coming off a 69-67 loss against the Lakers on Saturday. And refreshing the browser here as we check the lane score between the Lane Titans and the Southwest Oregon Lakers. And it looks like the Lane Titans have a handle on that one with a 79-44 lead as that one has gone final. Lane Titans now 23-0 on the women's side and will look to be playing against the Chemeketa Storm. And that should be a good game. We think, as for the Mount Hood Saints, both teams will be coming off a loss on Sunday. They will host the Southwest Oregon Lakers. As for this game, final score, the Chemeketa Storm 50 and the Mount Hood Saints 44. Thank you for joining me at the very end, Jake. It was great to have you, and looking forward to having you for the next game.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's going to do it. We're out. Stay tuned for the men's game coming up next from Gresham.